Nel mare tempestoso di One Piece Card Game, tra scontri epici e colpi di scena degni del nuovo mondo.
Ciao a tutti ragazzi, bentornati sul canale del Frustra. Qui oggi siamo con un ospite speciale che è Abbster. Hi guys, welcome back to Frustra channel. Today we are with a special guest that is Abbster. He doesn't need any presentations, so we'll ask him some things and we'll discuss about Blackbeard in OP10 and nothing. So, Ab, will you play in some tournaments in OP10, regionals, and like Rome, Barcelona, London?
So for this upcoming season, I was trying to get into as many as possible, but we only managed to get tickets to London. So London is the only region I'm going to for the first half, and then for the summer I am looking to go to as many as possible too. But London for this season.
Okay, we'll also be in London. I think the meta in London it will be like a jungle
Yeah,
because I think there will be many decks. There isn't a specific meta in London because it is the first regional I think of post-ban, right?
yeah, it should be.
Okay, okay. And also, I want to say, obviously, congratulations for all your videos. It's a pleasure for me, and also many of my friends told me, "Wow, you're doing a video with Ab, so you're famous." And also here in Turin, in Italy, we all follow you and like your video as well. And
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's I'm happy like my videos can bring some knowledge to people and that you like it.
yes, also there are some cards that I think in Blackbeard that many players are playing that I think are all your ideas. Like we'll talk about that later, but like the 500 million card, I think is your personal touch because I didn't see anyone playing that other than you.
Yeah, for the 500 million, I think I've seen some lists play it from before as like the trigger concept with the deck. But I think like the deck I'm running right now, I think that's like completely unique and kind of new to what Blackbeard have been before.
Okay. How do you think about Blackbeard in OP10 in general?
I think that Blackbeard is in a super good spot. I think that you have like overall good matchup into a lot of things. So what it feels like the format will shape up to depending on how it looks. It's like either you play Blackbeard or you play a deck to beat Blackbeard.
Okay, because I don't know if you saw also there are many lists like Shanks that plays in a different way from the basic list with the control Shanks that plays the Luffy from the starter, the Zoro from the starter, and many rushes. I don't know if you already played against that list and what do you think in general about aggro matchups?
So in general, I think that Shanks looks like the Straw Shanks or like Straw Hat Shanks Rush package. I think that deck is kind of a hard matchup for Teach because there's coming out a lot of body that just swings into you, and you don't have that much ways to remove those things. super clean. You have pistol, you have black hole, you have like auger docu if you play them, but in the end, if you, for example, pistols the Luffy, then you're not developing anything, so they will just slam something and then attack you next turn. So I think that the Shanks deck is a little bit more of a rough matchup, and I have played it some, especially on ladder. But looking at the other aggro decks, I think that Zorro it actually may be a good matchup depending on, because the forecast Shiryu is crazy into Zorro. Like if you get two, I've been feeling like you should probably win the game all the time. But also Zorro can play like these bigger bodies that swing like Dragon, like the Luffy, so it can get a little bit rough. And I think Belobetti should be like the next aggro deck, and I have not played against it that much in OP10, so I will have to do some more testing into it. But we absolutely have some tools playing Blackbeard to beat aggro.
Okay, okay. So now we'll go on some of the cards. Can you see it? I'm streaming.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, perfect. So we'll talk about these cards. I have just to activate here on OBS. Okay. We'll start from Laboon. I saw your list. I think is very interesting. It's a different concept, like you were talking before about the concept of have many triggers so that you can just kill many bodies without using your dons, so just kill one rusher or something like that in opponent's turn that is really good. But I saw other lists that play the removal way. So Laboons, Van Augur, and the classic Docus that I saw that you aren't playing. So what do you think about the list with the removals?
I think it's good. It's not bad. To me, if you look at Docu, I think that Docu is as most efficient against 4-drops together with Auger. And with Doffy taking a hit this format, and also the black decks, like for example the Black Smoker who plays Kusan, but with 4-drops getting away from the format, and there's going to be more 5-drops and other bigger thing, and also like smaller bodies. I felt like Docu does not give you as much value, and I rarely played it against like these matchups. And when I play it, it's like heavily dependent on multiple cards, and a lot of games the people just ignore the Docu. So you just played it, maybe you removed something, and then you like it will just sit there. And with like you have 4 pistol, you play at least 3 black hole together with auger and other things, so you can actually remove bodies too. And the approach I've been going more is like to play maybe a little bit more mid-range, you can call it, than control, to like play more with Burgess and like try, because he becomes huge and he can also swing and clear things. So I have to test a little bit about more with Laboon, because there are more 5-drops in this format, so Laboon might be a little bit better this time. But the problem I've had with Laboon in OP09 and in OP10 is that it's a small body. It's like a 4/5, so you play it together with a Docu to remove like a 5-drop, we could say, and then your opponent maybe swings like a 7 on the Laboon, and then it will just die because you don't want to pitch 2 cards to protect it. So in that turn you could maybe like have a Burgess instead, which is big in stats and then can swing over something, or you could remove things other ways, or just like maybe let them have the card depending on what it is, and just try to focus on your board more. But I think there's some arguments to play the removal package too. But I've been finding success to play without the Docu and the Laboon in the list.
Yes, I agree with you. I think Laboon is a great card because when you drop it, when you go second, it is a body that has got to be cleared by the opponent, because if it's 6 on board, it's really a problem for him. And I like the fact that Laboon also is a blocker, if we can say that, because instead of going to our lives, the opponent has to trade it in any way. So I like the card, I really like the card. I also like that it's a counter. But I agree with you that is a card that needs combination. So we have to open Laboon, we have to have the docu. Also, if we go second, when we have 2 dons, maybe we have to take a choice if use stage or if use docu to set up the removal board. And it's an argument that I don't know if it is really good or not in this meta. Tambo, cosa ne pensi tu? Se vuoi dire qualcosa, vuoi fare qualche domanda?
About Laboon, I think that we thought to play Laboon because me and Vittorio before the ban list we used to play Ice Age, and of course the first card that can replace Ice Age more or less is Laboon. Especially I think Laboon, it's a card that it can be played. It depends on how the meta develops after the ban list, because I think it's a great card against Purple Luffy, for example, to remove the Sangoro. That it's a card that can
It's
cause us a
problematic.
lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Because we have to clear it as fast as possible.
Yes, also.
But yeah.
Sorry, scusami.
No. Go.
I think also Laboon is good to remove big drops that can cause many problems. And with Black Hole, we can remove 8 drops like Dragon or stuff like that. And also, as I said before, it's a blocker even in late game. So I really like the card, but we have to think about it. Tambo said before that we were playing a Sage. It's an off topic this, but I don't know if you tried Ice Age pre-ban. We were trying it, and we found that some matchups Ice Age was really good. For example, Azop, that because if you lose the dice against Azop, you can do really good turns, because at 3 dons you can play Doku, and when he drops his 4 cost Cavendish or another drop, on 5 you can do like Ice Age Burgess and remove the drop, and I think in that spot the game is over. Because you took two advantage from this play. I don't know if you tried it or not.
No, not when I grinded the pre-ban list. I played a lot on the Eastern ladder, and I don't play. I played tried Ice Age in the beginning of OP09, but to me when I played, I felt like to remove the Cavendish, you could either have Finger Pistol or a Stronger together with a Black Hole. But I think Ice Age is a good card. Sadly now it's banned. But when I play, I want to like it does not replace itself in a way. So you go technically like -1 when you play it. But yeah, in combination with Doku in that spot, it could be good against Usopp. But I think the card might not be needed to actually win that matchup and to clear the Cavendish.
Okay, okay. So, what do you think about Jack?
I'm not the biggest fan of Jack. Like I tried to in the beginning of OP9 format, and now coming to OP8. Like I tried the list with like the tech, the Mancherry, the Bartomeu blocker, and Jack, and it felt like just strictly playing with the Blackbeard engine always was better. So I usually just used to pitch the Jack of leader or with age because there were some other plays lining up instead. So I think that Jack might be a little bit more of a win more card in my opinion compared to what the Blackbeard engine can do. I think Jack is a really good card, but I think Teach don't need it as much as, for example, Lucci.
Okay. Yes, I didn't try Jack, but I think it's not a good card in the meta because I think there is not space in the list to play it. But one of my friend told me, why don't we play Jack? It was just a card that I wanted to put here just to know your impressions about it. So I agree with you. I think it's not. It's a good card, but I think it's not so synergic with the deck. So I totally agree. Tambo, so
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
okay. Now, spicy card, Katarina Devon. This card, I was trying it in post-ban because I think pre-ban there was no space. Even if one of my friends was already playing it, and he told me that had good vibes about this card because I think it's really powerful to have a blocker and also an aggressive body because the opponent has to respect it because if he has like two lives, he can't just go aggressive on you because he has to defend himself. Because if we let Katarina has double attack, for example, we can maybe have a spot for a lethal. So the opponent has to respect that always. And also is a good card, I think, in mirror in some spots. Because I think the mirror is like Burgess, Black Hole, Kuzan, and then the 10 cost Blackbeard chain. But if you don't see those cards, those key cards in the mirror, sometimes being aggressive can be a good can be a key for win the matchup. Also not with the Burgess and these cards. What do you think about this?
I think that the Von in OP09 was not that much viable of option because like it's kind of hard to fit a spot to play it. But with Kusan in OP10, I think it opens up a new way for the Von. I have one in my list right now because as you talked about the versatility of the card, that it can be a blocker at first and then you can like threaten double attack and banish with it. But also in some spots when you have Kusan, you need to bring up a Vasco shot, and I think it feels so bad to play the Kusan and get up a Vasco shot by it. So it feels a lot better to put up the Devon with it, and it's kind of likely that it will survive too, like when you do the blocker. And yeah, as you said, your opponent need to think a little bit extra about how they want to do their turn when Devon is on board. And it's also really good in the mirror too. So I think that Devon is a really welcome one-off in the deck right now.
Yeah, I totally agree with you because in some spots when you have the Kuzan and you have to drop that Vasco to survive the next turn, I think it's really awful. I hate that play because I don't know that the Kuzan can't just evolve in a fucking Vasco shot.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I totally agree. Tu Tambo.
Yeah,
What do you say?
I will for sure try Katerina Devon in next locals because I think it can be a really useful card.
I was thinking that maybe we can play like two copies of this card, but I'm not sure. Maybe just one can be the best choice. I have to test more uh, to understand this. Then DoQ. So, like we said before, you're not playing DoQ anymore. Uh, I like this card in the removal list with Laboons because as a different concept. Like DoQ as Van Augur cycle cards. So in aggro matchups, I think that they have to respect the DoQ, while in other matchups, often the DoQ stays in board all the game, and it's like you throw a card from hand because maybe you did just one removal that is not really good. But as I said, I think that against Zoro and also when you go first, if you start with Lafitte, so you do your Lafitte one don, two dons, the opponent does his drop one cost drop, and the DoQ in that spot is good because he doesn't have anymore the little drop to trade the Lafitte. So his leader must attack the Lafitte because other way the Lafitte will snowball during the turns. So it's like a blocker, and I really like that. That use of DoQ. What do you think about this card?
I think DoQ definitely is a good card. It has a good effect and like a great on KO. To me, the reason why I don't play it right now is because of the 4-drops going out of the format. So DoQ is like a combination card that you need to like do it with other things, and it feels like to get rid of a 5-drop you need it together with a Laboon. And going over that, it's kind of hard to actually get chaos with it. Maybe you can go a double auger, which is a little bit more easy now with Kusan, but I feel like now with Doffy gone, I don't think the card give as much value as it did before. Because I mainly used it to clear 4-drops, and I play instead in my list I play 4 Shiryu right now, and to like clear other things you have Black Hole and you have Pistol too. But yeah, the early game with Lafitte is kind of good to make them swing into it. But the problem I had when playing, like after they have swung on the Lafitte in like a lot of matchups, it just felt like the DoQ were sitting there on board and not doing that much. Now I don't run the Laboon and have not done it for a while, so maybe it gets a little bit more value then. But I felt like the deck does not need it more now, and I actually had a lot of results without it, especially on the ranked ladder. So that's just my opinion on DoQ right now.
Ok, ok, thank you. Tu, Tambo, vuoi dire qualcosa rispetto a Doku che magari mi sono dimenticato?
No, the thing that Abbe said was definitely good because yeah, sometimes the queue stays there and does nothing, and opponent can just ignore it and go face it, especially rush decks. So of course, with the list that Abbe is playing, it has a lot of sense that doesn't play yeah the queue.
Ok, ok.
We just have to try it and see how it goes.
Okay. Then Vasco, I put this card. We put this card in the list, but I think it's a must. This card you have to play it. I think with the Devon you can play just one or two copies. Uh, I want the Vasco in the deck because if the meta goes in an aggro way, there are many turns that you have two downs and you want really to drop that Vasco to have one life more because Vasco is like playing with one life more. I think in this deck. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think you should at least have one Vasco in the deck. And also, as you said, now with Devon, I run one Vasco and one Devon. Before it was two Vasco before Devon, but now it's one of each. So and also yeah, it's really good. It's kind of good against aggro, but it's also good against, for example, Pluffy and Shanks because eventually they will have these big bodies on board and just blocking like a 12k swing with a Vasco is really good to do to
Sure,
maybe protect life or protect like a Burgess or a Teach even.
sure. Okay. Um, Now we have the 5 drop barges. Uh, I saw in OP9 some lists that were playing 4 of these barges with the free cost Dressrosa spell. I don't know if you if you see that list.
You did a video, right, about it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
I did a OTK video of Burgess. So the thing was I cycled away, so I had 3 Burgess in grave and I had 3 Kusan on board, and then I swung with all Kusans and then all Burgesses. And I also had the free cost event to do it on one just to like kill opponent. And it was surprisingly working, but I choose for that video because it was more of a fun video. I tried these matchups that were already good, like Lucci. I tried it once against Usopp, and like I tried against slower matchups. So yeah, I was able to set it up because if I would play against like Doffy and things, it will take like 10 hours probably to film the video.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I don't think that that is a good combination, but like you said, it was fun. Uh, I like the card, but I don't think that in OP10 there is a spot in the list to really want this card. I don't know if you tried it or not in post ban.
I have not tried it yet. I know I playtest with a friend who also plays Teach, and he tried it a little bit, but all the times it came up, another line also came up. Like he could have swung with the bodies he already had on board instead of bringing up the Burgess. So, I mean, maybe if it would be in like a 1k, maybe you could see a spot for a one-off. But I think with no counter, and like so rarely being that good, I don't think it should see the list.
Okay, sure. I agree that I think it's a second choice card in the deck. So I don't think I'm gonna try it now, but we'll see. Tambo, so
Yeah,
you
we tried one copy of it, but
pre-ban,
yeah, of course, pre-ban,
pre-ban.
but
It doesn't work very
it
well.
doesn't work. Yeah.
Then we have the superstar post-ban, in my opinion. That is the 4-cost Shiryu. Tambo tried it pre-ban, and it was, in our opinion, a good card because against Doffy, it was really good to clear the teach in early game. That was a really problematic card. Now I think with all these aggro decks, the 4-cost Shiryu really is a powerful card, and you want to see it. So I think you must play it in 3 copies, maybe 4. I think you can play it also 4 copies of this. And it's also good, in my opinion, with the Tashigi and the 3-cost Sanji. So it really has many targets to kill. What do you think about this card?
I love this card. I have to tell you, it's amazing. It's a 4 in my deck right now because, as you said, it just kind of clears like something against every deck. As you said, the Tashigi, the Sanji, the Rocinante. You can clear Usopp blockers. In the mirror, you can clear like Elafite to get a swing instead. Like there's something to clear with it in every matchup. And also, once you clear something, it's like a 5k poke every turn, and opponent's turn it's a 7k. So, like if your opponent now, and especially when Lucci and Smoker probably are out of the format, and also BEY, it gets a lot of value by just like poking 5, and it's really hard to get rid of it because if you're not playing a deck that can remove things, you have to like swing on it, and it feels really bad to swing hard on a card that already got crazy value. So I really love this card. It's the GOAT against aggro, I would say.
Yeah. I think it's the best card against like Zoro Animal and decks like that, because you need to take away the pressure from the choppers, from all those cards that really pushes you. So I really love it. Tambo, riguardo
Yeah,
Shiryu.
I'm also a fan of Shiryu. Important card against aggro Shanks because you have to deal with Sanji the same turn he played. So of course, without Doffy, you don't need to kill the teach, but he can deal in a lot of matchup the threats. So big fan of it. Yeah.
He also kills the Vasco in mirror, so it's really good in many spots. Now, what about Shigan? This card was a must in OP10 pre-ban, in my opinion. We were trying a list with the Laboons in which we weren't playing the Shigan because we thought that just with the black hole that you can search with Stage, Lafitte, and the other searchers, you didn't really need that Shigan, but I'm not sure about this. I have to test more some matchups, so that was just an idea. What do you think about this card in this format?
I think Pistol or Shigan is really good. The reason why it just insta clears a 5-drop, and I think against a lot of decks, if your opponent gets to sticky 5-drop, it can become a lot more problematic. So it's nice just to have like a 1 card to get rid of it, and also mill cards for Burgess. So I think it's really good, and also you can use it in combinations with Augur and a Stronger to, for example, KO the any card in the game actually, because you decrease with 5. So I think Shigan is really good, and you also get the added benefit of having like a insta win if you get it as a trigger against a lot of matchups.
Yeah, sure. I'm not really lucky in trigger, so I I used to don't trigger anything. Just the one cost spell. That
Yeah.
spell I always trigger it. That I'm really happy uh, to trigger that card, but I prefer Shigan. Shigan, I think it really is. Like game over in many games if you trigger it. So and also boosts Burgess that is a really good thing. Tambos, vuoi aggiungere qualcosa?
Yeah, Shigami is a must-have card for me. You have to play it.
Okay. Also, with Bonnie, I didn't test a lot because I think that is a good matchup. But I have to test. I don't know if Shigans are a must in that matchup. I really love Laboons because if you keep the board with those removal, I think Bonnie doesn't do enough to get you in trouble. So we'll see. Then we have the famous card, the free cost spell, that I'm not really happy because maybe now I'll go to London, I'll be in a mirror, and if he drops Avan Augur, uh, I have to clear it because if the next turn he does Van Augur on Bargis and the spell is another way to clear it. So I'm not really happy about that. But what do you think about this card that you invented?
Yeah, I think this card is really good. So the reason I play it in my list right now is because when I play tested the mirror a lot against base guard, shout out to him. He's a really good player, and like it's so hard to win the mirror going first if the opponent opens like stage and like a 4 drop, because he will just like put out things, swing into you, you have to answer it or put out something. So in the end of those games, the one going second was really favored. So the two techs we were looking at was Tempest Kick Sky Slicer, which has like the trigger to draw to, which is really good. But it can also remove stage in the mirror, so you make the opponent's deck a lot more inconsistent. And I choose to run this card because in the mirror, then you can just get the insta win trigger just to bounce the Burgess from trigger, and it also has like the utility of being able to bounce it together with the auger. And also with the card, like you're playing Teach too, so you have your leader ability and you also have the stage, which means that if you draw it, you can just either pitch it with leader, you can cycle it to stage. So in the end, it does not give that much harm if you manage to get it in hand instead. And it's also a like you pop something that's 6 cost or less as a trigger too if you want to. So you can pop a lot of these problematic cards against aggressive matchups. So together with 4 pistol and 4 I with 5 million, I think there's like a 60% chance each game that you hit a insta win trigger against a lot of matchups. So the deck does not need to hit it in a lot of spots, but it's really welcome in some cases. And I have to also tell that I did not invent this card. I seen it in some lists doing the trigger theory of playing triggers. So I just choose to try it. But I think like the wave of people playing it right now is probably because I put out videos with it.
Okay, but I think that all people can agree that uh, the most saw this card from your videos. So uh, I think if they will play this card, it's thanks to you. So we have to say this.
Yeah.
Uh, I think the trigger of this card is crazy. It's really crazy because 6 costs, KO or bounce in hand, it's like crazy. In your list, I really like that with the 8 triggers, you have high percentage to trigger some removal that is really good. So I think I'll try something like your list, and the other with the laboons. Tambo, tu vuoi aggiungere qualcosa su questa spell qua?
Yeah, that's definitely a very interesting card. I have to try it for sure.
Ah sì, la proveremo questa.
Sì, sì.
Now, Deliberation. This is really interesting for me because I don't know if you played against Belovetti, that I think is not really played, but I think that some people could pick the deck, even if for me there is no reason to play the deck. Okay, but I don't know why some people maybe will try that, because it could have a good matchup with Blackbeard. I don't know. I think the Liberation is crazy in that matchup. I think it's also good against Zoro Animal if you play a list with the removal, because you can keep the board in a good state. But I'm not sure that it works against all the other decks like Shanks, Bonnie, and also for the Tashigi and stuff like that. So, what do you think about this card?
I think the card is good. It was crazy when Doffy was in the format. I think you had to play it then. Right now, it's not in my list. I've been considering maybe changing some rages to fit maybe one or two of it, because, as you said, it's kind of good into Bello. It all depends how much Bello better we will see. I don't think there will be that much Bello, so if you queue a Bello in a tournament, you are like a little bit unlucky maybe. And I think like the only other matchup is really good into is Purple Luffy. But I think now with Liberation being a card, I think because before they tend to like flood the board with 4 and 5 drops. But I think now with Liberation going around, I think when they play Teach, they maybe opt to go more tall instead, like playing the Luffy into like a Lin maybe, or a 9-drop Luffy. So we will see how the meta evolves. If there is a lot of Plapper Luffy, I think Liberation might take a slot in the deck. But if there's like more of these other decks, I don't think it's really good. So it should be good into Smoker, but they have the Tashigi card, and they always play Smoker together with the Tashigi, so it's always protected from the Liberation. So I think the card is decent, but I think it's like kind of conditional to play, and we will see how the format evolves. It's definitely a good and interesting card, and it might see fit in the list, I'd say.
Yes, I totally agree. I'm just thinking if playing it in one or two copies, I don't think there is space for playing more than the two. I have to try. Like you said, in Purple Luffy is a very good card that I think Purple Luffy is. We have an advantage in that matchup, in my opinion. But there are some games that is not so easy for Blackbeard to treat with all that 5 cost bodies and also the Luffitaro and stuff like that. So we have to test. We'll try. And then we'll see if play or not this card. I would prefer to not play it, but we'll see. Tu Tambo, che dici di Liberation?
Yeah, currently I'm playing one copy of Liberation after the ban list due to the fact that Doffy is not in the meta anymore. It can be useful, but most of the time you just discard it with stage or leader effect. So yeah, we have to see how the meta develops, but it can be cut from the list. Yeah.
I think also it's problematic that sometimes you need to have two bodies less than your opponent, and in some spots, maybe if he didn't play the one cost drop, you have one body and he has two bodies, so you just can't use that card, and it's not really good. Like you said, that it needs many conditions. So uh, we'll see. We'll see. Then the last card, the Shockwave. We tried this card a little bit. I think in OP9 was played in main lists. We tried it in OP10 pre-ban because in some spots it was good, in my opinion, because if you didn't have the Vasco shot, you could just stay with two dawns open and clear some bodies like the two cost Stitch or any other free cost. But we tried it a little bit and we didn't like it really. I don't know if you tried it and what do you think about this card?
I think the card is decent. In OP09, I think I played four of this for Slicer and for Pistol as like triggers because it has like a really good trigger and also a kind of decent effect. But yeah, as you said, with Doffy going out of the format, you don't really need this card anymore because you use it mainly to KO the Teach or like to get the trigger on a 4-drop. So I think there's better options right now. But yeah, it's definitely a good card. But also with Shockwave too, it's better when it's unexpected card. So once people like caught up to a lot of Teach lists were running it, then people can play around it more. So if two dons are open, then they always know okay he probably has a Shockwave in hand, so he can just maybe swing with the 3-drop they have before they swing with leader. So you don't get the value of the effect. So I think it's a decent card, but I don't think it will fit in the OP10 meta.
Yes, I totally agree because you have to stay open with the Dawn, so you can play around that card and that makes really bad the spot in which you want to use it. So I totally agree with you. Tambo, vabbè, noi l'abbiamo provata appunto.
Yeah, we
Era,
tried, but
era una prova della disperazione, diciamo, che avevamo
yeah.
fatto. Okay, so now we'll move to the matchups. So we'll talk a little bit about some matchups, and I I took also some spicy matchups, and because I was interested in know what do you think about it. So I'll just keep my slides. Just a second. Okay, I don't know. Can you see it?
I can see it.
Okay. So the first matchup, Zoro. There are mainly two lists that people are playing. That is the classic list with all rushers, so 3 cost Zoro, 5 cost Luffy from the starter, dragon, and stuff like that. The other list is the animal. And what do you think about this matchup? You said before that with Shirius, in general, the animal list is like a good matchup, maybe a 60-40 or something like that. But I was interested also in your opinion about the classic list. So if you want to explain the lines in the matchup in general, and also your opinion about the two lists.
Yeah, so with the classic list, do you mean without the annual package then, or
Without,
with
without.
without? Okay, yeah. When I've been testing against Zoro on ladder and also on quick play for a video I did this morning, I have actually never played like a Zoro that does not play the annual package yet. I think
Okay.
some of the Zoro lists were a little bit more heavy on the like bigger rush cards, like the Forco Zoro.
Yes,
But I feel,
yes.
yeah, in general, the what's it called? I think the Sirius just so crazy in this matchup either way, because the Zoro will play like these 3 and 2 drops, which it will try to get some poke with, and if you just clear them with the Sirius, they gas out so fast, because they don't play that much draw, and once you swing at the things, they will start to counter, and then you just play a lot on board. So I feel like maybe if they don't play the annual package and go more for like bigger rush cards, I think the matchup can be a little bit more annoying. And I've not tested super much into it because I've not seen it that much. But the animal list I think is a good matchup if you just play the Sirius and just try to search for them all the time. But if you don't find the Sirius, the matchup can become kind of hard. But with Teach, you have like all the search cards, you have a mulligan, so you should find the Sirius. That's at least what my experience been into this matchup.
Yes, I think that with Shiryu, with the animal list, especially if you play 4 copies of Shiryu, is like a good matchup. Here in Turin, we have many red players, like Marco Pastorello, Fabio Montresor. Don't know if you know them. They did many tops in many tournaments with Zoro, with Whitebird, and they always played like aggro decks. So in many locals here we have people that plays the classic list. I think that a problematic card is the 5 cost Luffy, because it's not so easy to remove, because maybe you have to take like 1 turn to do a Shigan on that body, but that body already attacked us, so even if we clear it, we have 1 life less, for example. So I think the list with all these rushers is really annoying for us, and I don't know. We'll talk later about this. If you also see the rush Shanks, cioè the Shanks rush version.
Yeah. That's I played some games against it. I think now I've been just grinding a lot of ladder, like the OP bounty, and I think like a lot of the higher Elo Shanks players are still on the more regular list, and I think they play the Luffy card and maybe some play the Zorro, but they are more on the Red Pirate package. But the ones that like play a lot of the straw hats and just tries to rush you down with the Sanji, the other Sanji like the Tuki Sanji, the Forco Zorro, Ficus Luffy, and that list can be annoying to play against. And I have to test a little bit more into it, but I think it's not unwinnable, but it's definitely a little bit more rough than the regular Shanks is for Teach.
Sure, sure. Tu, Tambo, vuoi aggiungere qualcosa su quello che abbiamo detto di Zoro?
No, yeah, the matchup. I don't know with Shiryu. I didn't play a lot against Zoro, so maybe it should be better for us. Just a question on against Zoro. You have to discard to leader effect every turn.
I think never, maybe.
Um, I have not been doing it that much. It's like you have to, so we teach like into these kind of matchup, you have to analyze, okay, how much does a on play for me hurt here? Okay, how much does a shopper for me hurt here? But I ended up not pitching a lot against Zoro. I did it more during the later stage of the game to not let them resolve a dragon, for example.
Okay.
So I can like take one damage by dragon and then just cleanly pitch for the leader. So I think Zoro is a matchup where it's not as important. But if you are annoyed by the shopper card, or like in some spots against it, they maybe save them in hand to play like two on turn six if they are 6 don or 7 don. So you should maybe like pitch later on, but it all depends on the game state. I would say,
Okay.
but not every turn.
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
sure, sure, sure. Yes, I agree with you. I think if you open with the Shiryu, you can just don't discard, and you just have to respect in the late game some problematic cards um, in some spots. But I think in general you don't discard in this matchup. Um, I think a problematic card in this matchup can be the one cost spell. Are there any turns in which you, in early maybe, in just like you don't swing with
Yeah,
your.
if they leave two, for example, if you go first and they leave two don up and pass, and you swing and they get like two triggers of that, then there's like kind of a big disaster. So I mean, you can't play around it all the time because eventually you will have to start to swing on his bodies. But in the early game, I usually try to play around it as much as possible. But in some spots, if you have like a Shiryu in hand, for example, you just swing into their board, and then if they play the spell, then you just play a Shiryu and pop the thing they get. So it depends on the game state. But like in the super early turns, I usually try to play around it as much as possible if I don't like have a way to clear things. But then later on, like it gets him a body, but if you can clear it, then it should not be that big of a problem.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think that you respect it when you just can't clear bodies, or if he snowballs with the spells, you have to respect them in especially in early game. But in general, is a problematic card just if you don't have the right answers to it, in my opinion. Okay, now what about Bonnie? I think that post ban this will be a lot played by the people because in general it has some good matchups in a meta where there are many decks. I think Blackbeard has a really good matchup in my opinion. But I want to know how do you play against Bonnie when you discard? What is your game plan in general?
So the game plan is generally to like neutralize Bonnie's board in the early game. It's not the most important thing to like play out a Burgess on four. You can like fit them in later. It's in most spots better to do it later and play a Shiryu instead because you can't really swing if your Burgess is like a 5 or 6 because they can just swing into it. So my main goal is just to like get a 4 drop, preferably a Shiryu, and after that I want to clear the 5 drops, and then from there every turn when I pitch I have to think because Hodu is an annoying card because it's like a big rush body, and that's like the weakness of Teach. But it all depends. If you have a board you want to protect from Hody, you pitch a card, and if you don't need to protect the board, then you don't pitch. So I usually save the discards to either 9 or 10 don. If my board is vulnerable to the shanks, then I pitch with leader, and then I think from 10 don and up you should pitch to play around with the flamingo. But otherwise than that, I don't think there's so much to pitch for. Maybe if you need to play around carrot too, there could be spots to pitch. But in general, you rarely pitch in like the early game, and you pitch a lot in the late game to play around Shanks and the Flamingo.
Yeah, I think that the problematic turns, maybe if you go second, on 7 dawn, if you don't want to take the carrot, maybe you can discard. In general, like you said, if he does Hody, I prefer that he takes a life from the Hody. I just don't want to uh, has him have a rush on board without have all lives, because in this matchup I think that you always have one attack less because of Bonnie's leader effect, and sometimes it's hard to go for lethal because of this. Also, if we go first, on his 8th dawn, if we don't discard, I think you have to discard when Bonnie has 8 dawns, because of the double drop that he can do with the Cavendish and maybe a carrot or 5 cost Bonnie, stuff like that. So I think that in his 7 dawn we just think about it, but if we go first, I definitively think I'll discard like
on 8
all
dawn.
games. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, if him developing two bodies is not that big of a problem, I think you maybe don't need to pitch. But yeah, if he can play like a Cavendish into a carrot, it can get really annoying. So I think there's a spot to pitch there. Maybe not every time. It all depends on the game state. But the key thing with Teach is to know what you want to play around with like the leader ability, and then you also have to like analyze, okay, where is the game state? How do I lose? How do I win? Do I lose if you do this? Do I win if like, can I play around it? Do I want to keep the card? So I think you should know like all of these spots, like yeah, like you explained with like he can play a Cavendish into a carrot. Okay, we know that. Okay, do we lose to it or can we manage it? Do we need to pitch cards? I think on that turn specifically, you can think a little bit about it. But yeah, that's my opinion.
Sure, okay, yeah. Every game state is different. I totally agree with this. With Blackbeard, you have to have always the resources balanced. So every game is different. That is also a thing that I really like of the deck. So I totally agree with you on this. The next matchup, Tambo, non so, scusami,
No,
dire
vai pure, vai
qualcosa?
pure.
Ok. Is Shanks. So, as we said before, I think maybe with Blackbeard, Shanks may be the second most played deck post-ban, because is a really strong deck. I think that the classic list with the Red Air Pirates package is the most common list, and I think it's the best list, but in my opinion, that lists really lose against Blackbeard. I think it's a really bad matchup for Shanks. But there is also the other list. There is Fabio Montresor that did a video on YouTube about this aggro list that I'm talking about. If you want to see it, you just have to write Fabio Montresor and you will see more about this list. I don't think it's really a common list, the aggro list, but maybe if that list does a top in Munich, I think that in London could be popular. So I think that maybe we have to respect that. And I had many problems with that list because the 4-cost Zoro is really an annoying card because you always have to clear it with Black Hole if you can. Because if you can't just do Shigan on it because if he drops another body, it's like I skipped my turn. So you can't do that, in my opinion. And it's really annoying also the fact that if you trigger like Shigan or like the 500 million on that Zoro, it doesn't really let us have an advantage in the game state. And all these rushes are really annoying, like we said before. So what do you think about these two different lists? And I think it's like Zoro, but the list with Raider Pirates is more better for us compared to the Zoro Animal list. What do you think about it?
Yeah, playing against Shanks, I think you always want to play against the Red Dead Pirates because that matchup is kind of easy because you develop early says you get to late game, you teach. That's like what you do, and you try to stay alive. And like if he does something threatening, then you just clear it on curve. But yeah, the rush list is actually problematic. When I played against it, I have not figured out like the best way to go against it because like you will clear, and then like his rush bodies just becomes bigger, like Luffy into Dragon into Shanks. So from there you're not really developing as much as you do when you play against the other. So you have a really hard time killing him, and then like if he sticks to Shanks, it's really hard to do it. I don't know how good that list is against the rest of the meta. I think the Red Dead Pirate is probably better against everything else. So when playing a tournament, now this is just speculations because I have not played Shanks, but it feels like the Red Dead Pirate should do better against other matchups. So once you get a little bit deeper into the tournament, I think it's more rare to play against the rush list, but it's definitely annoying to play against. And like Siri is good to clear the first drop, and then like okay Luffy you can pistol it, and then on 7 they may go Luffy again or Zoro, then you lead to Black Hole, and then you don't really find a spot for Burgess. So that matchup can be a little bit rough, and I have not had like positive win rate against it. So I think that's definitely like a choice to do if you want to counter specifically teach. And I was also going to say 500 million can actually bounce the Zoro.
Yeah.
So that he does not. Oh wait, it's on KO, right? The effect.
Yes,
it should be.
yes. It's
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
Yeah. Yes. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah. So, but I think that matchup is annoying to play against. But like you can't have good matchup into everything. So when you play Shanks, hope it's like Red Dead Pirate. But if it is the aggro version, like you have to like focus on clearing and maybe try to stick a Burgess and then close out with Teach. I think is the best way.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it's not very popular right now. My fear is just like I said before that maybe if this deck, this list tops at Munich, some people can play it, and it's really a problem for us. Anyway, I think the most common list, as you said, is the red-haired pirates. So I don't think you can build Blackbird to beat decks like that. So you just have to hope that you won't play against it. And the thing that is really annoying of this kind of deck in the version aggro, in the aggro version, is that when you go to late game, if you clear the board every turn, you have low lives, and the opponent has like 4 lives. So your 10 cost teach just don't do enough, in my opinion, and that's the problem. Tambo, non so se ho dimenticato qualcosa, se
No,
se
non
vuoi
direi di
aggiungere
no. Cioè.
qualcosa.
Yeah, of course, the Rush version is a lot problematic. In our local, it's kind of popular, so I played not a lot, but I played many matchups against it, and it's very tough to win if Shanks see the Rush every turn. It's very hard.
Okay, so next matchup, a spice matchup, in my opinion. I heard many people that wanted to try this deck because, in their opinion, has a good matchup with Blackbird. I don't agree with this. I think that this matchup is good for Blackbird, in my opinion. Just you have to play in the right way. In early, you just don't have to discard. There are just some spots in which you don't want to take the OD Jones, but in general, I don't think that is a bad matchup. There are some cards that can let the opponent trade our barges when we attack with him in their turn. Come si chiama la spell, quella che abbassa di potenza, Tam? Non mi ricordo più.
Quella rossa.
I don't remember the name. Sì, I don't remember the name of the spell that.
+3, -2.
No,
Oh,
no, not the spell.
The mole gun,
Maybe.
the 4 cost that removes things.
Not the. È un costo 4. I don't remember. Anyway, there are some spots in which when you attack with Burgess, he can easily remove it attacking him. I don't remember the name of the spell. Anyway, what do you think about this deck, and what do you think about the matchup with Blackbird?
I think in general it's a good matchup for Teach, especially when you play for Sirius. The only annoying thing they can do is if they go first and play like a small drop into a Smoker Tashigi. I think that, and then after that into a Hody. I think that's like the god curve for this deck, and then maybe the matchup is slightly, it's more even then because you have like things to like win against it, but they play one searcher and then they need to hard draw the rest of the cards, so it's more on them to better have it to like get to a good spot, and if they don't do, then you can just pistol the smoker and you can start to clear the things more easy. And also this is a matchup where you don't really need to pitch that much, like only maybe to protect from Beckman. maybe if you want like Hody not to resolve, but in general, like it's a kid deck, and you love the opponent to play kid because you can just go 10 drop and then stun the kid. So I think in general this is a good matchup, and I also think it's a little bit of a tricky matchup because you have to play a certain way. So in the beginning, because Teach is a reactive deck and you have to play different into every matchup. So I think that the reason why people may feel like this is a bad matchup is because it's a new deck. So they just have to play against it more and find out what's good and what's bad against it. But you should just like focus on clearing the board and be neutral. And also it's a 4-life leader that does not generate that much resources. So if you like stick a Shiri or maybe two and just poke fives every turn, then eventually they're like so gassed out. So if you have like a bird, it's wait, I can go for game here. And so I think this is a good matchup, or slightly better, I would say. But there are some spots where this deck actually can do things against each, especially with the god curve they can get.
Yes, I totally agree with you. The first games I did against this deck, I didn't know the cards and I have some difficulties. But then when you understand this matchup, I think it's easy in my opinion. So I totally agree with you. Also, like you said, they just play one searcher and it doesn't search key cards like Odie Jones and also the kid that for us it's not a problem, but the deck also has to hard draw the kid, the Odie and all this stuff. So I I think is a really bad call in this meta. Tu Tambo cosa ne pensi di Smoker?
Yeah, also for me, it's not a bad matchup. Of course, you have to play against some card that can cause you trouble, but in general, it's a good matchup for Blackbeard.
Okay, okay. The next is Purple Luffy. So Purple Luffy, I think without Doffy, uh, it will be really played in big tournaments because it's a really consistent deck. I hate this deck. Okay, I really hate it because I think you just have to do your curve. You have to do Zoro Juro, Luffy-Taro, 9 drop Luffy and stuff like that. And also there are the Gum Gum Giants that is a really crazy card. I thought that they would ban the giant or just limit that card because I think it's crazy. But this didn't happen. So, what do you think in OP10 post ban about this matchup?
I think it's like weird in some ways because if Purple Luffy goes first and they get their god curve, I think they're probably favored into a lot of things. But as long as you can like get out the Burgess, you can like clear the boards with either spells or like with swings. I think in the end it becomes okay. I think it's definitely probably like slightly favored, but it's not good like for example the Red Pirate Shanks or Bonding for example. Because like they can just play out a lot of cards. With OP10 it becomes a lot better with the Liberation. And even if you don't play it, the Luffy player actually has to play around it. I would say. So I think they will tend to go more tall than wide. We will see when the format shapes up how they will decide to play. But yeah, I also agree with you with like the deck. I don't like it at all because it's like it's so like predictable. They will only do the same thing, and then like you know that in late game they will have like four giants or at least one. So I think this matchup definitely is winnable, and I would say it's slightly good. You just need to like stick a Burgess, clear the things, and then like close out with Teach. I would say is the way to go.
Yes, I want to ask you just some things. because I lost many games because of the giants. Because I think in this matchup is a really fast matchup because you have to kill him as fast as you can. But many times you just lose because of his giants, because you try to go for lethal, and he just has a double giant plus many 2Ks and GG. So uh, what do you do with barges in this matchup? Do you always swing life? Do you always attack with barges? Are there any turns in which you don't want to attack with him?
I think that's a good question because it all depends on like the game state. I tend to not try to swing with him as early as possible. If I have a lot of defensive cards or hand, or if I have like a Vask on board, or maybe a Kusan that I can get it back next turn, then you maybe can swing with it a little bit early. But usually I try to at least make him like a 8k before I start to swing if I don't have a lot of defensive cards in hand. And I forgot the other question.
No, the question was about how do you play in general in the matchup with the barges. Also, I want to know if you go first, do you prefer to remove his 5 cost drop or to put a Burgess on board?
I think if it's a Sangoro, I usually remove it. If it's not a Sangoro, then I just try to play a Burgess because the Sangoro gets so much value if it sticks. Because if they play a Bonclay, a Kid, or a what's it called, Sorayuro, I don't think that's a little bit of an issue, but it won't like ramp up value. But if they play a Sangoro, then they will get to draw a card, and then you really need to clear it the next turn. So usually Sangoro I try to clear, and if it's a something else, then I play Burgess. And my goal with going first for the mulligan, I just try to find the answer to Sangoro, and if it's no Sangoro, then I play Burgess instead. I would say that's like how I approach
Okay, and
it.
another question. Um, if you go second, but also if you go first, do you discard the second turn? Because if you go first and you don't discard at when he goes on for dawn, he can ramp and do a Bonchan. Then the next turn he can ramp again and like drop a 9 cost body. Uh, do you discard from the start or not?
In general, I discard when he's on 7 don and up.
Okay.
So once he can do Lufitaro, before the ban list, when I played two liberations, in some spots, for example, if he went for the Sorayuro, and then after that he searched like something, whatever he searched, then I did not pitch because he will play the Lufitaro into Sangoro, and then I can just play the liberation to clear both of his things. So if you have Lib in the list, there's some spots where you expect Lufitaro and he has a 4 drop where you actually can skip the pitch because he will go minus a Dawn and commit another card, and then you will just clear the other bodies, and then you have like a 7k Burgess and he has a 8k Luffy, and then you go to 8 on next turn, and then you can like combat what you do then, and then you can play Teach, and you're probably then also at maybe 4 life, 3 life. So with Lib in the list, I think there are some spots where you let him go for Taro just so he extends to the board. But if you don't play Lib, I think you should probably always discard so Taro won't resolve. Um, or if it's at 9, then you should always discard because he can play the Lin on Burgess, and then you just lose if you do that.
Yeah, we can take the Lin on on Borges, of course. Um, well, what about the play that I said before? If he goes second and does the Bonchan, do you think is too fast for us the 9 cost drop if he double ramps that turn?
Uh, No, I don't think so. I think like bonking to 9-drop, it's a little bit annoying, but when he do that, he can only swing 5s at you, so you probably can be at like 4 or 5 life. And once you get to... Wait, do you get to... You should be at 6... Wait, are you at 6 don when he plays the 9-drop then? You are...
We are at...
Yeah, we are at 6
Yeah.
6 don then.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit annoying then, but you can still like try to clear the bone clay, or maybe we leave it depending on the stat on Burgess and just try to like set up for your future turns. But also it's like
Oh, we have the
I think if it,
7 Dawn, sorry, 7 Dawn, because
oh, we're at 7 on.
yes, because he goes second for Dawn, he ramps, goes to 5, with the Bonchan goes to 6, then we go to 5, and then he does the drop,
Goes
and we
to
go
8,
to
9, yeah, and then
7.
7.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit of an issue maybe. I think you can manage it on 7 don. You can maybe play like a because you're on 5 don the turn before. So if you, for example, play the Van Auger there, then you can go Auger Stronger and Black Hole or Pist Shigan, yeah. And then they only have like a Bond Clay, and then you go to 9 next turn. Then you can maybe play like Double Burgess, and then after that you can play Teach. So I think that is not the biggest of problems. I think the problem is when they just start to play like a lot of bodies and you can't clear, and then you just die by them being aggressive.
Sure, I totally agree. I think that Blackbeard suffers more when the opponent does many bodies, because just one body, it doesn't matter if it's 5, 6, 10, 12, okay, so it's just a trouble if he wants to trade our barges. That's the problem, but we take a life even if he's a 7k, so maybe you have to have a Vasco or stuff like that just to let's survive somebody if you have barges or stuff like that. Anyway, I totally agree with you. I was just interested in knowing if you would discard in that spots. I think that anyway are specific spots that you just can say if he has the Bonchan, he will drop the 9 cost, but as you said, you can just manage it. Tu Tambos nel matchup hai altre domande, altre cose?
Yeah, I was interested about the thing you were said before. Vittorio asked you, for example, let's say that we are going first and opponent does a Sangoro. Of course, we want to do pistol. But if we do not have pistol, do you go for example, stronger black hole?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, go. Sorry.
No problem, no problem. Yeah, I usually go for a stronger black hole because you get to cycle like an additional card, you get to remove it, and then from there, the turn after that, either he plays a Lufitaro or he plays like because he's a 7, yeah, so he plays a Taro, and then from there you can like play a Burgess and maybe play like a Lafitte or something. So I Sangoro I usually always remove with the tools I have, but the other cards I don't think is the biggest of an issue.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Then we have the mirror. The mirror, as we said before, I think that Pre-ban had that specific curves. I think you mulligan for the stage. If you go second, you take a really big advantage in dropping Burgess first, because the opponent has always to manage it. So if you do the Burgess, he has to black hole or play another Burgess, and it's like in the most of the games win whoever before dropping the teach who has many bodies. I think that in the mirror there are some games in which the black hole can like steal games, because sometimes you're playing just the game in the classic way, so you're developing your barges, your bodies, your blockers. But we know that the deck doesn't counter really good, so maybe if the opponent is in a disadvantage on board, can try to do a lethal, and black hole sometimes steal the games. Now with the new list, with your new list, there are some interesting spots, because I used to ignore the Van Augur before the ban, because I didn't want to invest an attack and to let my opponent draw another card. I always prefer to go on lives and set up my bodies. But now with the free cost spell, I think that it's a problem, that Van Augur, because he has an additional removal other the black hole. So what do you think about the mirror post ban?
So for me, and like the deck, as you told me, I strictly like mostly built my deck to the mirror as much as possible. So we were looking at like for the flex spots at 2 cards with Sky Slicer and with 500 million. I think Base God plays Slicer. I play 500 million. And yeah, as you said, the mirror is a lot about developing bodies and clearing bodies, just going tempo. In OP09 it was a lot more like Burgess into a teach late game, but now I feel like these like 4 teach late games rarely happen because of Kusan and like the tempo you can get with Kusan. I think like the first teach comes out a lot later. Yeah, so it's definitely interesting, and I think this matchup it's so far away from black and white as you can be in a one piece mirror, because there's so many different things to take into account, and you in a lot of spots you play kind of open hand because you know, like with the stage, you will search both of you. But I feel like so how the mirror has been going for me is like the one who starts begins with like a stage or something, and then you pass, the opponent does his searching things, and then after that you either play like more searchers or swing a 8, or in some spots even if your hand is bad you can play the 3 cost Shiryu too. Now the 3 cost Shiryu is really bad if people start to play 4 of the 4 cost Shiryu because they can just clear it. And then they develop a body, you have to, okay, do I want to answer it, do I want to play something? And then like it bounces back, like you clear board, you try to like win with the resources. So I think in general it's a lot about the tempo on board. That's like the most important thing. And also it's important not to go too low in the mirror either, because at one life it's kind of a death sentence, because as you said, in late game black hole, then you just die because they have like 3 big swings or like 2 big swings and you cannot counter out of any of them. So I think the mirror is a lot about just winning board, doing these favorable trades, playing smart around like the good cards in the mirror, and I think you have to play it a lot too to get the good feeling of like what to do and when to do it or not. I would say.
Yes, I want to ask you. In general, I used to take the 2 first lives on also 5, the classic 5 on leader. there are some spots in which I want to counter because if the game state is that he has more board, I don't want to let my opponent go too aggressive because, like we were saying, the black hole can just do lethal, random lethals. So, how do you manage your lives in the mirror? I want to ask you.
So yeah, in general, I tend to discard on the one attack. So if I can discard one card on attack, I usually do it kind of in the early game too. In some spot, I even guard the first swing they do to stay at 5. But I think maybe you can take the first life, but then from there you always want to like trade a card for like one of their swings because even going down to like 2 life or 3 life too early, then they can just like start to go face on you, and then as I said, like you can only put up one teach eventually, and if they have like some bodies on board, they can use black hole and then kill you if you're at 0. And also if you're at 0 and they're at like 3 life, you can like never swing with your teachers. So what you're going to be like in a stalemate where you both develop things and you're not able to swing, and they like can get a little bit of poke of you every turn. So going too low in the mirror too fast is really hard because when you get to the late game, you it's really hard to swing with your teachers because you're so close to getting killed. And like in those spots, like okay, well, how do I do? Because both will just build a wall against each other, and then eventually, like okay, he can just start to swing on me, and I have 2 low cards, so he will kill my teachers. So I think keeping life is really important, and optimally want to be at least at 3 life once it's late game. And the longer the game go, the bigger the burgess will be, the more Don the opponent can use to swing. So it's better to get value in the early game by throwing cards to the smaller things. So once you're at late game, you can take these swings and you can swing with maybe a teach or something because your opponent can't kill you the next turn because you're at 2 or 3 life. Um, so I think maybe taking 1 or 2 hits is okay, but you should probably trade one card for a hit if you can. But it all also depends on the game state. As I said, we're not being black and white, but in general, you want to stay healthy and pitch a card for like to save a life.
Yes, in general, I want to take the first 2 lives just because I want to see more cards and I want to play to have more consistency in drawing my Borges and stuff like that. I totally agree that if you can just discard one card to keep your lives safe, you discard. But in early, I prefer to see more cards I can because you need the stage, you need the Burgess, and if you go second and don't have the Burgess on for Dawn, it's really a trouble in my opinion because it switches the game in advantage in our opponent's advantage. So that's mainly the reason. I want to see more cards as possible in early. Also, I want to know the Katarina Devon. Do you play it often in the mirror?
Yeah, it tend to come up a lot in the mirror, I would say. Like in some spots, like you know your opponent has black hole in hand, and you want to stick a body to next turn, and you want to swing with Kusen and put up something. Then you can play Devon or Auger. Devon is good with a blocker because it like saves you resources, and also in late game you can Kusan for it, and then you have like an additional threat instead of Vasco. So I think it actually comes up in the mirror, and like the double attack or even the banish is also really good, especially the double attack because you can like swing a 9 if there are 2, and if there's like no teach on board, then they take it, and then the tempo switch to you like with the live total. So I think that Katarina actually comes up in a lot of spots, and I think it's the mirror is one of the better matchups for it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I didn't test it a lot, the Katarina, but I think it's really a good card. So we'll try it. E Tambo, tu volevi chiedere qualcos'altro nel mirror?
Mm, no, no. Um, yeah, I agree with the fact that you want to save your life, especially the first one, because uh, in the late game the attackers get bigger and bigger. So I usually tend to save the five swing, except if you don't have the cards that you need. So yeah, a key fact is stay up on life in the mirror.
Ok, ok. Ok, we can go next. Okay, here it is another spicy matchup. I think that this matchup, even if the deck it's not really popular, it's a little problematic for us because this deck you can't attack it in early, in my opinion, because if it triggers too much bodies, it's kinda problematic for us. I think that Liberation in this matchup is like the good card. Anyway, for sure you can't play cards like Liberation just for off meta decks, so that's not the point. But how do you play against this deck? Did you play any games against? What do you think about this matchup?
I have not played that much into it. I have to get more games, and I got a lot of requests to do a video on it. And as you said, it's kind of a like fringe matchup. I don't think it will see that much play because it's like you have to be like a certain risk tolerant to play this deck because like I feel like you're so like heavily dependent. Like the games can either go super good or super bad, or like it goes so fast and like you have to be a different kind of beast to play this, especially in like a 10 round event. I would say. So I've been testing both strategies. So Liberation, as you said first, it's a crazy card into this matchup. It's like the best card. The clear spells are the best ones because they play a lot of 4 drops, especially when you don't play Doc Q. I actually have not tested that much into it without Doc Q. And also with the swinging thing. I've been trying both of the things, and both are annoying because if you don't swing into it, then it's like you get to the later on in the game and you're maybe at like 2 life, and then you have to start to swing into them, and then they can get the trigger bodies then, and then maybe kill you from there. But and then like if you swing early, they can also get the triggers, but then if they don't, you can kill them. So I think this matchup is so stressful to play against because it's all about like it's like a Russian roulette when you play against it.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so I don't really like to play against it, so I tend to like avoid to try to get it. But when I get it on ladder, it's definitely annoying. But I think like the Shiryu list makes it a lot better because you can focus more on board, and you should probably like counter out of all 1-for-1 trades, and also with 8 triggers in the list, like you can get the clutch factor there too. So, but in general, just clear board first foremost. I'm not convinced yet if you should swing or not swing. I have to do more testing to give my honest opinion on it. But it's just an annoying deck in general, I would say.
Yeah, in Turin, I I always take this deck on locals. I always play against some beginners because I think this is a beginner's deck in the most of the cases. And there is a meme about this because I often lose with these beginners with Velovetti because if that deck high rolls is like crazy, and it always happens with me. So I really hate it. I think this is an awful deck. I hope that nobody plays this leader. But I was just curious about knowing if did you play against or not. Tu Tambo, non so se ci hai giocato contro Belovetti in generale.
No, I didn't play against it with using Blackbeard.
Okay. Anyway, I don't think it's a problem if you just play against this deck in a big tournament. I think you're just unlucky. But I think in London, especially the first turns, you really can play against everything because there is not a real meta, as we said before. So I'm scared about some spicy decks that people can play. I think that Blackbeard is really good in general, also with off meta decks. But I think that the deck needs to know exactly what to do in every matchup. So sometimes it's just good to do a little test with off meta just to do all the right things. Because with this deck, if you discard a card in a turn that you don't have to discard, you maybe lose for this or some for some mistakes like that. So this is the point.
Talking about like playtest against rogue decks to get like a feel of them.
Yeah. I was just saying that I think that you that is good to know just like when to discard. So doing a little test with rogue decks, it's good for me just to know in general what to do and not what to do because Blackbeard. If you make some mistakes, it's really a deck that punish you. So that was the point. So the last rogue deck, I took a lot of spicy decks because I was interested in knowing if you played against these and what were your thoughts about. So I think that this matchup was a good matchup in pre-ban because this deck had to respect the Doffy, so he couldn't play too many rushes because it wanted to do like 9 cost Lin and other stuff like that. But now I think that this deck, even if it has many bad matchups, I think that with some rushers, it could be really problematic for us because ramp into double rush is not good for us. So, did you test it? What do you think about this?
So this is match I've actually tested a lot against because there's kinda like bigger number than what you think on ladder playing it, and also one of my good friends Fabian Krulsor, he's called on YouTube, he has channel too. He played this deck a lot and he got top 16 I think in a treasure cup with it recently. He almost won it. He would have won like the 2 last rounds because he started 8-0. So I tested a lot against it, and as you said, the annoying thing is if he ramps up and plays like big rush drops, that's like the way you lose. If he plays like these normal drops that don't get the rush, then you are in a good spot. So what I mainly look for is like to answer the Zoro Euro if they go first, and there, for example, the Shiro is perfect because you just clear it and then you don't need to like you get to stick a body too. The problem is when they're on the 4 if you want to trash to play around bone clay, is because they play the events too to do it. So if you trash and they have event, then you just go -1. So in some cases, it's better to like, okay, if he have bone clay, he has bone clay. So it's that thing. But also this deck is, I think, is manageable if they get like out a drag and something else. It's when they change shanks, I think is really annoying, because they will play the shanks before you are able to play the 10 drop the turn after, if they get the ramp. And if they get to play another shanks after that, I think it's game over, because they get so much value and they can just rush you down. But this deck is kind of inconsistent on shanks, because once they get to that late game, they have only went through like probably 12 cards in their deck or something like that. So they should not see multiple shankses. And if they do, then they are kind of lucky, I would say. So in general, I think just like try to stop the ramp if it fits your like curve, and then from there you just want to develop Burgesses and then close with Teach, I would say, is the game plan. But it is actually annoying if they get to chain big rush things on you.
Yes, here we have many players that was playing this deck, even if, like you said, I think is a really inconsistent deck. But they used to play like 6 spells that ramps, the 4, I don't remember the name of the spells, but the free cost spell and the lead perform disaster maybe. I think.
Yeah, the big mouse spell, I think the Ricos is.
I want to ask you this because I think that could be a point to discard when he goes to for Dons, because the fact is that if you discard, like his Bone Clay is awful to drop for him, in my opinion, and I think you want to let him do the spell, but if we discard, he just has like 6 copies of ramp in his deck, so we're just like cutting some of his cards, and also we don't have to argue with that Bonchan that in the late game I think is a problem with all the rusher that he drops, because when you do the teach, he will have some big drops maybe, and the Bone Clay if you didn't remove it. Like you said, you want to do the barges, so maybe it could be a point, can be a point to discard the turn. What do you think about this?
Yeah, maybe when you put it like that, I'm actually unsure what's the correct play. Maybe like when you bring up the point of like if they play the Bone Clay, it's more annoying than if you discard and they ramp. So I actually think there might be better just discard there to block them from playing the Bone Clay, even if they get to ramp with the spell. That's actually true.
Just because we don't want to have that Bonchan in board, and if I have to discard a card, in my opinion, to play a Burgess in a safe way, I think that that can be a point. I used to do that, but I'm not sure it's the right play. But I like the fact that if I discard, he has to have the spell to ramp, and if it doesn't have it, he can drop the Bonchan, but he won't ramp. So that deck, if it doesn't ramp, I think it's really too slow, because if we play our curve and they don't ramp, it's like a really easy matchup for us if they don't play too many rushes, in my opinion. Tambo, non so se vuoi aggiungere anche tu qualcosa su questo.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of discarding for cost. You know, with Vittorio, we had a lot of this conversation on if we discard or not. I think that yeah, maybe if they have they have it they have it. Maybe the bone clay, it can be a problem on later on. There are some spots that before we play our teach, he plays two of them with maybe with already a blocker on board. So that could be a problem. But in general, the matchup is favorable for teach, I think. And a very key card is the Vasco shot, I think. I think that if we play Burgess and with one or two Vasco shot, and then we start to chain the Blackbeards, it's really tough for Luffy to
Yes.
catch up with us.
Yes, I totally agree. I just want to see if the new lists play more rushes, and I want to test against a list like that. So we'll see. So I didn't put Aesop post ban because I think it's an awful deck in my opinion. I think that loses from like all the meta because all aggros decks like Zoro or Shanks aggro or Luffy red purple and also Luffy purple are all matchups that are really not good for Aesop. Also, I don't really like Aesop because it's like, in my opinion, an inconsistent deck because it has to draw too many combinations in the right spots. If you don't draw that combinations of card, it's really a 4 life leader that can die in awful ways. What do you think about Aesop post ban?
I have not played it super much because I've just been grinding teach this late like this month. But we were looking a little bit at like the matchup spread and like Usopp's good matchups. What I seen was like BY, it was Doffy and like I don't know if Lucci was a good matchup, but like these two specifically, and they're banned now. So like there's no reason to play Usopp anymore because you only have your bad matchups left, as you said.
Yeah. I totally agree. I didn't put Lucci also because I think that in a meta with Blackbeard, it's also without Moria and Ice Age, it's like an unplayable deck. So I, I don't think
Yeah.
it will be a really played deck. So we finished. Forgive me for my English.
Oh, no problem.
And also thank you for all. We went a little bit long, but I'm really happy to do this video with you. So thank you a lot. I hope we can collaborate again in the future. And if you want to say something, then we close.
I just want to say thank you for having me and thank you for reaching out. I think doing things like this is really funny to do, like to talk to other creators and like do some collabs. I think that like the One Piece, like the whole One Piece community is kind of new, and I hope that like it will all grow and like get all these things. I know that you do more to the Italian community, and it's kind of fun to reach out to you guys too. And yeah, no, I appreciate it and thanks a lot for having me.
Okay, thank you a lot.
Thank you.
I hope we'll see you in London.
Yeah,
And I hope you the best also for the tournament. And thank you, Ab. Ciao ragazzi,
Thank you, guys.
abbiamo finito e mi sono dimenticato in realtà di parlare, di spiegare in italiano perché siamo andati un po' lunghi eccetera, quindi magari eventualmente poi in diretta su Twitch magari facciamo delle altre cose dove spieghiamo meglio. Comunque grazie a tutti, buona serata e niente. Ciao a tutti ragazzi.
Ciao, ciao ciao.